The issues affecting you. Revealed, explained, discussed. Now on WGAL 8 in Focus.
Hello, I'm Susan Shapiro. Forgotten Friend Reptile Sanctuary in Lancaster County takes in reptiles in need of help. I visited there when it was a little warmer and, as you can see, got to handle some of the snakes. This is when the reptiles were outside and more active. This place also educates adults and children about snakes, turtles, and tortoises. Tonight, we'll see some reptiles, learn about conservation efforts, and the dangers of buying reptiles over the internet. We're putting reptiles in focus. I'm joined now by Jesse Rothacker here in Lancaster County and some of his friends on the ground and on his arm. Thanks so much for doing this with us, Jesse.
You're welcome. Welcome to our home and welcome to all our friends.
Yeah, we're going to meet a lot of them. I know there are about 100 here, aren't there?
Yeah, and counting.
Wow, that's amazing. So what got you into the reptile business?
Well, I like to say I was just a normal kid. So ever since I was little, if I saw something like this, some people might run away from it, but I was always drawn toward it. So whether it was like finding a pond turtle on a family vacation or just trying to catch the lizards in my backyard growing up in Southern California, I was always interested in every reptile or every amphibian that I could find.
And this is one of the first that you had?
Yeah, this is exactly what my first pet snake was. As a teenager, after a fair amount of lobbying, I was able to convince my mom to let me have a pet snake. And I got a baby corn snake, a little red and orange one like this one, about the size of a worm. And I got it for Christmas in about 10th grade. And it was all downhill ever since then.
And this corn snake will get to be this big?
Yeah, so here we have the baby and the mama. So the corn snakes are a North American snake, and they're what I call a medium-sized snake. They get 4, maybe 5 feet on the really big size. But here we have an adult female. She's probably not even 48 inches. And that's the same size that this hatchling will grow one day.
And these are so smooth. I was holding her. Is it her?
This is a her. This is the mama.
Beautiful
you could hold her
skin.
now if you want.
All right, I'll hold on to her. But as we continue our conversation here. So all of these reptiles, where do they come from?
So the main reason that we get reptiles is that it gets too big or it just lives too long. And so they outgrow their welcome, and then we try to find new homes for them.
And how do people find you and give you these reptiles?
So we're connected with some other animal rescue groups, your SPCAs and humane groups, and a lot of the zoos that are getting the calls, they may refer people to us. And then now that we've been doing thousands, literally thousands of outreach programs since 2004, there's a lot of people that know how to find us directly, or they might connect to us through Facebook or Instagram, or somehow they will hear about us. We get calls from police departments. We get calls from landlords, just people that find random snakes in random places. So we just work with all the folks that try to help animals.
And you have a love of reptiles. They are really cool animals, aren't they? A lot of people I guess you either love them or hate them.
Well, there's over 10,000 species. So once you get started learning about them, once you get past the fear of them, you trade fear for total fascination. And there's so much to learn, and there's so many different species. It kind of blows your mind once you go down the rabbit hole, or I guess you might call it the tortoise burrow of reptiles. It just goes on and on.
Well, speaking of tortoise, we have some out here, I think. I don't know where they went. They're over there. What kind of tortoises are those?
Those are African sulcata tortoises, and they're native to Kenya, Tanzania, parts of Africa. 3rd largest tortoise in the world. They're the largest mainland species. The only larger tortoises live on islands like the Galapagos and Aldabra tortoises. So the ones that are roaming my backyard right now, they're grass grazers just like cows and horses. If you go up and down the road here in Lancaster County, you're likely to see a lot of grass grazers and a lot of meadows. Most of them are mammals though, so we're one of the only neighbors on the block that has grass grazing reptiles.
Are any of these snakes like this indigenous to Pennsylvania or to this part of the Northeast?
Yes, so these corn snakes, they are southeastern and they come very close to Pennsylvania, but corn snakes are not a Pennsylvania snake. So they come to some of our surrounding states, but we have other snakes in the reptile room like rat snakes that are native here. We have a milk snake in our educational program, and that's native here. So we do have a number of native species, although since we work mostly with pet trade animals, most of our animals are exotic to Pennsylvania.
All right. Well, I kind of like this gal. She's very calm here. I'm not going to lie. I was a little fearful at first, but she's so smooth and
She is very sweet.
nice and sweet. Yeah. I see the tongue coming out. We are going to go inside the reptile house and find out what you should and shouldn't do if you're thinking about getting a reptile as a pet.
This is WGAL 8 in Focus, coverage you can count on.
We have moved inside to the reptile room here at the sanctuary. I'm getting very brave holding some of these snakes.
Yeah,
these are both pythons, aren't they?
These are both pythons, and you're a natural, Susan. I think if you ever get out of journalism, you have an exciting career in herpetology ahead of you.
They're just so smooth
They
and sort of, nice. He assures me this one won't bite.
No, that was very nice. And can you imagine, there are parts of the world where people pay money to have what's called a snake massage, where they lay down in a bed, and because you're feeling it now, they feel soft and kind of therapeutic. People will put dozens of snakes on top of you, and people pay money for that.
I'm not ready for that, but what should people know if they're thinking about getting a snake or some other reptile as a pet?
Yeah, there's over 10,000 species of reptiles on Earth, and they have vastly different needs and demands. So if you're thinking about getting a pet reptile, there are some good ones, but there are a lot that are commonly given up. And do your homework, figure out, number one, the adult size. If I go through my email right now, I'm gonna find a lot of reptile emails, surrender emails, saying we got it when it was little, but it got to big. And that's what people need to consider is the adult size. This python that you're holding, this python that I'm holding, they're different colors, but they're the same species, and they will never grow beyond probably 48 inches. I wouldn't expect them to even probably get to 48 inches. Now, there's a python right behind you, and that cage right behind us there,
He's looking at us.
that's the longest snake in the world. That's also a python, but while these ones are gonna stay 3-4 feet, this one could end up 20 feet, 25 feet, records over 30 feet. So that's a vastly different snake with a vastly different menu, vastly different housing needs. So you need to consider, for sure, the adult size of the snake. There are other things.
I was going to say, and same goes for turtles. They may start out very small, but they can get very large.
That's right. We met the tortoises in the backyard. They start out like little ping pong balls, and they get over 200 pounds. We don't even keep them that long. We keep them for 5 or 10 years, and then we transfer them to a warmer climate to retire. And the lifespan of turtles, I just interviewed a woman, 90 years old. She got her first pet turtle. This was an interview with the woman, with her pet turtle. Can you guess how old she was when she got that turtle? She was 10.
Oh boy.
So she had a turtle that was already 80 years old. And some of these turtles get over 100. There was a box turtle found in Western Pennsylvania in 2012. It had the year 1878
Wow.
carved into its shell.
So they're going to outlive you.
Many turtles can go beyond 100 years. Crocodilians may go 50 years.
And in terms of reptiles, what should you know about the care?
So there's a lot you need to know. I have some different tools right around me to show you. So this is the kind of light that you might get on top of your cage. There are 2 different bulbs in here that do 2 different things. The black bulb down here is only to produce heat. They need a certain temperature. And this UV bulb here on the other side is just to produce synthetic sunlight. They're called UVB rays. UVB rays are very important. We showed you a tortoise that had a deformed shell because it grew up without those UVB rays. And so sometimes reptiles need special sunlight or synthetic sunlight to produce healthy, strong bones. Other ones from tropical environments, they need to have that humidity. Without it, they're gonna get incorrect shed cycles. And that's something we deal with all the time. Even doing our best to offer humidity, we still have a couple snakes in here that will have partial sheds, and then we have to give them a special bath time.
We saw the turtles eating the lettuce. What else do these guys eat?
So every species is going to eat something completely different. Our herbivores are like our iguanas and our tortoises. Our tortoises are more of grass grazers than they are leafy greens. So we're going to let them graze the yard, grass, clover, dandelions as much as possible. We can't do that in February when it's covered in snow. So over those months, we're going to supplement grass hay and also leafy greens, everything from kale and collards, dandelions, lettuces, all of those things. And that's just one type of tortoise. Other tortoises may do better with commercial pellets supplementing leafy greens. So there are many different things. And then you may have noticed from our reptile room, we have some buckets in here. I'm just going to show you real quick what's in one of these buckets. This bucket has
crickets, right?
Crickets all over the place. So you can see these crickets are for a lot of our lizards. That's mostly for our leopard geckos and our bearded dragons. They're going to love to eat crickets. Our chameleon loves to pick off crickets. They have a tongue longer than their body, and he will use that thing to pick off crickets. So we have different bugs, crickets, cockroaches, worms, and that's going to be for some of our box turtles, for some of our lizards. So everything eats something a little bit different. Do you want to see what's in freezer number 2?
You know what? We'll do that in our next segment. So,
Right.
But that'll be a look in our next segment. We'll also talk about why you shouldn't buy reptiles on the internet.
This is WGAL 8 in Focus, coverage you can count on.
We continue our conversation with Jesse Rothacker, who's the founder of Forgotten Friend Reptile Sanctuary in Lancaster County. Again, thanks for being here. Jesse, we talked about the internet and where people may be buying things. What should they be aware of?
Well, the internet is a little bit like the Wild Wild West. You have the very best and the very worst that are out there. So there are some great businesses where you could order animal supplies or even your next pet, but there's also some very unscrupulous people that don't do the best. So the snake I brought with me here, his name is Eslin. He's a Western hognose snake, and he was actually given to us, donated by a breeder in South Florida. Now this is a breeder who sells a lot of reptiles on the internet, but I've been to their facility. It's one of the best facilities. He buys the very best food. He has all of his temperatures, all of his records. He has a whole computerized system, so his animals are getting the very best care. So that's an example of a breeder that I would recommend and say, go to him. That's a great place to get a snake. But there's so many other places where you don't know what you're getting. And in Pennsylvania, we don't have almost any regulations for exotic reptiles. So you need to be very careful. You could order a rattlesnake, you could order a king cobra, you could order a crocodile.
And they're not legal in Pennsylvania?
They're legal in Pennsylvania. They are not legal in most states, but they are legal here. And that's one of the things that's very dangerous in Pennsylvania. So you could get online, or not you, but your kids could get online and they could order a venomous snake and it could be on your doorstep tomorrow. And that's legal in Pennsylvania. It's not legal in most states, but Pennsylvania does not have a lot of rules or regulations. So be very careful what you get in Pennsylvania. Just because it's legal does not mean it is wise. So it's like choosing any other pet. Make sure you know how big it's going to get, how long it's going to live, and make sure you know where it's coming from. The breeder that bred this snake right here, really great facility. But there are a lot of other folks I would not recommend, and you don't know if the animals are being well taken care of. You don't know if they're being poached from the wild. You want to be very careful you're not getting wild caught animals, because that could be hurting wild populations. This is one that was bred in captivity. It's not going to affect wild populations.
Do you think Pennsylvania should have more regulations?
Boy, now that is an interesting discussion. I've been an advocate for at least regulating pet alligators in Pennsylvania. But that whole other area, that's something I'm not even going to try to start a discussion on. It's a very complicated subject.
Why alligators?
Because alligators are an animal that are always going to outgrow their welcome. If you have an animal that's going to, let's say like this snake, it could live in a 20 or a 40 gallon tank the rest of his life. An alligator could live in a 40 or 50 gallon tank for about a year. Then it's going to need several hundred gallons of a tank. As it grows to an adult, it could be 10, 14 feet, potentially 1,000 pounds. Even if it's a smaller female, let's say it only gets 5 or 8 feet long, a fully aquatic animal, that's not something that's going to live comfortably here in the Northeast. So for something like that, it probably should be permitted or licensed in a way that it's going to experience individuals, not just anyone with $50 or $100.
I notice you have some names for some of your reptiles. How does that happen?
So my daughter Viola is 9 years old, and she is the chief namer at Forgotten Friend Reptile Sanctuary. So she could point to our gecko cage and she could tell you which one is Molly, which one is Spot. I don't know all the names of my geckos, Viola does. A lot of the names that come in here, like we have a tortoise named Vicky, a tortoise named Sheldon, those are the names those tortoises came in with, so we keep their names. And then I will name some of them, like this one I actually named Eslin after the breeder that actually bred this snake. His name is Eslin.
I also notice it's very warm in here. Do you keep it that way for these reptiles?
It is always sunny and 70 degrees in our reptile room, and that keeps them happy and healthy. And some of the cages are actually much warmer than the 70, 75 degrees that we experience. So ambient temperature, we want to have at least 70 degrees. Some of these basking spots are getting over 100 degrees, and that's very typical for a lot of reptiles. They need triple digits to bask.
All right, well, I promised you a look in the freezer. So before we leave this segment, let's take a look in the freezer.
So this is, I would say, probably several months of food supply for a lot of our snakes and lizards.
And not the pizzas.
You can see these are some of our frozen micicles, and this I think is pepperoni and sausage.
You're also a comedian, Jesse. Well, stay with us. We're going to go back outside and we're going to visit the iguana cage.
This is WGAL 8 in Focus. Coverage you can count on.
We are back outside. This is the iguana cage, but a few animals are in there, an iguana, a lizard, and an alligator somewhere in the water.
Yeah, we have 3 out right now, and as soon as it's cold, they're all going indoors.
Ah, how about that? Jesse, you really do a lot of educational programs along with your rescue. Why so?
Well, since we started in 2004, we've had a chance to do thousands of outreach programs, and through those years, we've had adults come up to us that used to be children in our programs, and they've actually told us stories where they found a snake, and in the past they would have killed it, they would have screamed, they would have run away, but from coming to our outreach programs, they decided to save it, to help it, to call somebody, to verify that it wasn't venomous, where maybe they would have just assumed it was venomous. Instead they learned, oh, most snakes are not venomous, and they looked into it and saved the snakes. And so we know that all these animals, they're such important parts of our planet, and they all have an important job. They're all out there doing what they need to do, and so we're trying to help people realize these are valuable critters, and they're out here doing a valuable job.
Why is it so important to save them?
Well, if you look at just snakes, there's some snakes that are going to impact thousands of rodents in the population. So if you had a choice, would you rather have one non-venomous snake living in your neighborhood or thousands of mice and rats trying to eat the Cheerios in your kitchen? So that one snake's important. And then you consider when they're eating all those mice and rats, they're also consuming the fleas and ticks and those other parasites that are on top of them. So they're impacting things like mice and rats and fleas and ticks in a lot of the things that we don't want. And so when we come to terms with how cool reptiles are, and we trade fear for fascination, then we realize these are actually our forgotten friends, that they've been doing an important job for us, and they don't even send us an invoice when they're done.
Hence the name, Forgotten Friends. What about how this Forgotten Friends Sanctuary continues to exist? How do you do that?
So one of the ways that we're able to exist is folks will bring us out for school assemblies and family events, and so we get paid to do educational programs that we love to do anyway. So it's really a win-win that we're getting funding from providing programming, but we're also able to share an educational conservation message. And folks are subscribing to our YouTube channel, and they're following us on Facebook and Instagram. So these are all ways that we're able to just on a daily basis share some of our joy that we have with all these reptiles around us, and we're able to just put out some quick pictures or some quick videos. Even when we don't have a chance to spend all day setting up at a school or a fair, we can just share some of the digital media of the animals that we love so much.
It's amazing what you have here, walking around and swimming around, that kind of thing. Not cheap to feed all these guys, I imagine. I saw them consuming a big head of lettuce pretty quickly, at least the turtles. It
is not, yeah. Our bill for food goes pretty high, and we've got to buy everything from frozen micicles to things like crickets and superworms to all the leafy greens and dandelions and kale and collard, you know, pretty much all the vegetables that my wife would put in a smoothie. Those are the things my iguanas want to eat on a regular basis.
So what if people want to get in touch, if they want an educational program or if they want to make a donation, what's the best thing?
You can reach us through our website, ForgottenFriend.org, and our YouTube is Forgotten Friend Reptile TV.
You really love doing this, don't you? I mean, this has become a full-time occupation for you.
It is such a blessing when you can wake up every day and do what you love, and we get to do that every day. And over the summer, we'll do over 100 reptile shows, so many that I'm exhausted. And then as soon as we're done doing shows, I'll find myself on a bike trail, and the first time I find a snake crossing the trail, I pick it up and show it to someone, because it's what we love to do. We have a passion for reptiles, we love reptiles, and we love educating people, and honestly, we love serving people. We love to meet the needs when people are afraid, or maybe people have a snake in their garage or their basement, and we get to go meet that need, help them pull something out of there so they can get back to their regular life, and we just appreciate that they're giving reptiles a chance.
Well, thank you for giving us a chance to see what's going on here and for all of your work. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks for being here with us.
Again, here's the Sanctuary's website, ForgottenFriend.org, if you do want more information. Thank you for joining us for WGAL 8 in Focus. For all of us at WGAL, I'm Susan Shapiro, and join us again next Saturday night at 7 o'clock for WGAL 8 in Focus, right after NBC Nightly News. And you can watch each episode of In Focus, plus WGAL's latest newscasts, original programming, and more. Just download the Very Local app and stream for free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV.